Episode number 132 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
This is Mike Snyderman.
And we are coming to you. This is a Monday morning, so we're not at night this time. But how the hell are you, Mike? You back from your vacation?
Yep. Spent a couple weeks away there in Maine and Tennessee with my son, visiting family.
Nice.
He had a good old time.
Did he? Good.
That was the purpose. We succeeded.
Right on. I had my brother out this weekend. It's a Monday morning, and so he just left last night. But we had a good time. We spent probably 48 hours together. We played some penny ante poker. We had another buddy come over, and we played cards out in the garage, smoking cigars and drinking beer for a long time. And it was fun. It was a blast. But there was certain points where we were playing where I realized how far I've come having this podcast and you know, there's certain little moments in home games like that where you're like, I know I could squeak in a little value bet here on the river, but it might just, am I crossing an ethics code here? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was a blast. It was fun. So I won a bunch of money that night, and then yesterday we went out and played golf, and I quickly lost it all because I'm terrible at golf.
Okay. That's a just result when a couple buddies get together. They gamble and get the thrill of gambling, but everybody goes home with the same amount of money. So
pretty much, yeah. I got my ass handed to me. I thought I was going to stand a chance. Out of 18 holes, I won one of them, and that was only because the two of them made so many mistakes that I basically just had to. I think I got a 2 over par on that hole, and I won the hole. So they both just went in the water and sand traps and everything. So that was the only reason I won that one hole. But the other 17 were not mine. I even started doing other side bets, okay, regardless of how many shots, the guy closest to the pin here, hoping I can make up that way, because I seem to be able to kind of chip the shots in pretty well. No, didn't win a single one of those. That was, yeah.
Now, Steve, your conception of what getting your ass handed to you is, of course, a lot different than mine. So how much do you lose when you have in your mind, a really bad day of gambling?
Oh, well, this wasn't too bad. I mean, I think at poker I won about $80. We were just playing 25, 50 cent. And then at golf I lost at least that. Because I went out with $200 and I came back with, I think 40. And so. Well,
I decided to go to the races, to Del Mar racetrack on Sunday.
Nice.
Which my yearly trip. And last year this is when I think I had a lot of money on me. I lost $1,200, and I was like, okay, we're just going to go down and have fun this year, and not lose any money. So, guess how much money I lost?
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go over under here.
1,200's the over under. That's what I lost last year.
I'm going to say it's over 12.
Yeah, it was about a little over $1,800.
Oh, when you started to say 8, I thought you were going to say 8K.
No.
Right.
So Steve, in terms of your penny poker, what was I going to say?
I guess that pales in comparison, right?
I was just going to tell you to shut the fuck up again.
When I start playing $100 a hole, then I'll talk to you.
No. That's. Thinking about do you still have your Bitcoin, Steve? Did you see where it's at right now?
Dude, I am killing it on Bitcoin. I bought it back in 2014 for $450. Now it's well over $3K.
I had sold it at its low point of the last. I sold it at $950, 10 of them, whatever that was 6 months ago. So it's tough to think about. I would be about $25,000 richer if I never even sold those.
You know what? You've moved the Bitcoin from Coinbase over to America's Card Room, right? Onto the poker site?
Yeah, well, you move it from Coinbase to blockchain and then to those sites.
Oh, you got to go to blockchain first.
Coinbase money only is used to buy or sell the Bitcoin to my bank, and they charge like 2.5% or something. I don't know. That's all. Anyways, it's just kind of funny here where I'm like, I struggle financially. I look at the Coinbase. I'm like, Steve's you're happy just watching that little profit go up. So no desire to buy some more. I mean,
it's funny you mentioned that. I actually bought another $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, which came out to like 0.334 or something. Because at the time I fired, it was 3K. But my intent was to move it over to ACR. So I went on to ACR, America's Card Room, and I clicked through there, and they said, "Oh, Coinbase takes forever. It'll probably be here in 2 weeks." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, I think Coinbase doesn't want its going money to gambling sites. So all this stuff is becoming like Coinbase now is they need all your personal information before they sell to your bank too.
Okay.
So yeah, the government's doing their job and. You know what I mean? Following these transactions. It'll be interesting to see because, like I said, I've just had a horrible year, horrible 12 months of poker. I won't get into the dollar amount, but if you looked at some of my Bitcoin, like, oh, here, transferring 11,000 this day and sending this and back and circling around, and with all the financial transactions I make, which is at least a couple a week. Yeah, I mean, you'd think maybe I was a high roller. I guess on a certain level, I am a high roller, just one who doesn't make money.
They take a big cut, too. When the $1,000 worth of Bitcoin I bought, they charged $14 just for that transaction from my bank. And then to move it over to ACR, unless I was misreading it, which, I mean, the numbers are right there, it said that grand whittled down to they basically took almost 10%. Moving it from Coinbase to ACR.
That sounds wrong. Unless the only thing is, there could have been a price swing.
Okay.
Because
it's so volatile.
Yeah, in the 10 minutes you made the transaction, there could have been you could have lost money.
Okay. Or it could have
that's probably the most likely thing. Yeah, no, ACR doesn't charge money to.
Okay. Yeah, I need to. I'll have to log back on there. I didn't get a chance to grind this weekend because my brother was there, but I'm going to do that today and tomorrow.
So what's going on with your marital situation there, Steve? Can we share some little?
Yeah, I could throw in a little tidbits. The termite guy came by, the termite inspector, to inspect the house because I got to sell the house. So I have decidedly more work than I thought I was going to have to do. I'm going to have to rip off a bunch of the fascia, replace the wood. The house has to be tented for termites. But I'm just plugging away. I'm basically increasing curb appeal. I think I could probably put in 100 or 150 hours worth of work and a couple of grand, and that'll probably realize me 15 or 20 grand on the back end when I sell the place. So, like the backyard, I've had a garden the whole time I've been here, but that garden will be done here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll rip out the tomatoes and all the melons and everything, and then I'll put bark down with pretty flowers and stuff like that. Just make it. I got to paint all the fascia on the outside of the house, but it's going good. I'm packing up stuff, putting everything in.
So will you? So you can't actually get divorced till you sell the house and write a check, or you can't just get divorced and make promises of. How's this work?
No, well, basically, our deal is that she'll be out of the house by September 30th. I'll cut her settlement, her check, and she signs over the houses and the plane, and that's pretty much it. I got to mail her stuff back down to Columbia tomorrow, so it's all boxed up here. I'm going to meet her out there. And
so once after September 30th and all these transactions take place, then when are you actually a single man?
6 months. So basically January of next year. California has what's called, I'm going to do air quotes here. Air quotes is a cooling off period, a 6-month cooling off period to make sure that both parties actually do want to end the marriage. So it's not like you just sign the papers and you're done. You sign the papers and now you wait 6 months and then you're done.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're everything's going along okay. Hopefully there's not any. Yeah,
it's going pretty good. We're basically both kind of we're very cordial with each other, and when she's at the house, I'm usually at work for several days in a row, and whenever she's out, I'm usually home. So that's been kind of nice, that just because it gets uncomfortable when we're both in the same house.
Yeah, that's craziness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going good though. I'm starting packing up and mentally preparing for a move again, and this house is going to be my this house turned out to be my insurance ticket, because without it, I would have no way of paying her settlement, but this is going to be my insurance ticket here, so that's good.
Pretty nice. So when are you? So you've been going on a lot of dates recently, or what's with that part of the?
No, I really haven't. I've been so busy with work and focusing on selling the house. I just haven't really devoted any time to seeking female companionship. I feel like it was funny the other day. I was talking about that. And I thought of Mark. Remember when we had Mark Aliotto on, and he's like, there was a period of my life for like 2 years where I didn't even want any kind of relationship with a girl. I was just focused on poker. I feel like right now all I'm focused on is just selling the house and moving on. Like that's my number one focus right now. Although I did play a little bit of cards. So.
Okay, well, Steve, when you have your first sorority sleepover party, all I can say is I better be there.
Yes. You'll get an e-ticket. How about you? How have the girls been treating you?
Oh, for God's sake, Steve. You know the answer to that question. I haven't. I'm trying. I got to focus on getting my life together here. I told myself, I finally going to. I've hit 230 pounds finally.
Oh, wow.
So that's. I mean, I know I'm 6'4", but that's really. So I told myself
that's
diet,
an accomplishment.
Yeah. So the diet starts. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. Right now. There we go.
Oh, right on.
The diet and go to the gym in the morning. Just trying to get the. Although Steve, I got to say, I came up with. I think I have. You can insert your laughter. You can put the laugh track over it here when I have a new plan for poker on how to not go broke.
Mm-hmm.
But this factors in several things for bankroll management, and it also incorporates my desire to cut down on my spending. I think maybe I came up with something like this before, but I think this is that on the first day of every month, I have to go to the bank and deposit $5,000. Okay. $2,000 into the checking account and $3,000 into my safety deposit box.
Okay.
So this, first of all, will keep me from, let's just say I have a month where I'm up $6,000 with a week to go in the month.
Yeah.
This would keep me from going to the bike to fire 3 times into a 1K.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have the money for it. This might also prevent me from, I want to cut down on expenses. Geez, I'm only up $1,400 over 2 weeks. This is going to be tough. This will, first of all, make me grind more hours. I can be lazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and this is also part of the Vegas plan, where it's like I don't even go to Vegas unless I got money in that box.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? $3,000 a month is pretty ambitious. But let's just for the sake of argument, just say that I am a guy who makes $40-50 an hour at cash now.
Yeah.
And let's just say the last 6 months here have not been an aberration, and that's my real expectation. Then all that's very doable.
Yeah.
So basically to have that $5,000, but I'm also talking about paying. I pay my rent in cash and pay a lot of living expenses in cash. So basically, for that to happen, I probably have to make $7K a month playing poker.
Okay.
Which is not impossible.
Yeah. What you're going to be playing 2-3 cash and then tournaments on the weekends, or
2-3 5-5. We'll see. I've played 5-5 all week, and I think I'm up 6,000 over the last 40 hours of poker. That's obviously a really good week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not normal. But I don't know. I like it. Let's see if it creates a little discipline. So that, and not stepping into the casino until I've exercised and read a little bit, and watched at least one poker training video.
Good.
So these are all the things we'll see. We'll see if I can stick to. I just got to I got to put the hours in, and I got to save some money, and let's start. I went out to the track. I went with this guy Steve, a buddy of mine, and
awesome.
Again, yeah,
I like him already.
Didn't really get into it. Just talking about. I'm like, I don't know if I can survive. He's like, just play better, be smarter with money, And I was asking. He's got 3 circuit rings. He did
okay.
He's got tournament success and all this, but he hasn't really played any tournaments in a few years. But I asked him. He says his bankroll has gone up every year for 10 years.
Okay.
His bankroll and his life roll. He's just the consummate pro, is what I'm saying.
Well, he's doing something right. When I meet people like that, one thing I always do, anytime I meet a millionaire or someone that I view that has a lot of success, I always ask them to give me like one golden nugget. Like if they could take their life and summarize it down into like one tip, one golden nugget, like what would it be? And what do you think his would be? Like what's his secret?
I think he's just again the things that I'm always talking about, like the bank control, bankroll management. I think is probably pretty big on him. He never steps over to the big game,
Okay.
So he
What's
stays
he play?
5-5.
5-5?
He plays 5-5. I think he'll play some 5-10 if he's in Vegas or whatever. So just living within his means and just game selection. Like sometimes that big game's got a couple crazy ass fish over there, and but that doesn't really matter. You can still lose $8,000 in 20 minutes.
True.
So yeah, he would never find himself doing that. And tournaments, just definitely targeting value and that kind of thing. And he lives, even his apartment, I think, is probably modest. He's married now, and the two of them probably having a woman probably helps a lot too in these kind of matters.
Helps or hurts?
No, well, yeah. I mean, it costs money.
I may be a little jaded in my view, but
right, that's true. Helps and just not. You've got someone watching over you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With the right woman, I think you could be right.
Yeah, that's true. So anyways, he just hasn't never had a losing year in poker. Technically I don't think I have either. The reason I've probably over the last 12 months, I don't know. Let me try to do the math here. I'm down 50K in tournaments for sure, which is just beyond awful. And I'm probably
Vegas
up,
had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, probably up for the last 12 months I made $600 playing poker. If you take the tournaments out, obviously it's almost decent. And like I said, I think I've turned the corner in cash. You know what I mean? Well, that's it. I just, like I said, I think 5,000 the first of every month. I got to go there with 5,000. And like I said, I was already there. Had met my goal until I went to the track. So now, we'll see. We're going to try to get that 200 hours. We got a good rakeback program at Ocean's 11. If you play 200 hours, you get $1,000 back.
Really?
So $5 an hour rakeback, essentially. I mean, I think if you get 150 hours, it's $600. $4 an hour.
Okay.
And $100 hours, it's $300. $3. So that $200 hours is kind of a magic number.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'd like to see if I can make that this month. We'll see.
Basically that just ups your hourly by $5 an hour. That's free money right there.
Yeah, I mean,
if
of
you're
course,
going to be putting in 200 hours anyways, or maybe you were going to be putting in 180. Well, just stick it out a couple more hours here and there. And
there's a tournament series coming up, a good one on ACR. So that's the one thing I told myself, I'm going to concentrate on cash, but play Sundays in the tournament series, where you take those 40 hours of Sundays out, and then I don't really play on Wednesdays and Thursdays because of my son. Then then you're working 12 to 15 hours those other 4 days of the week, which makes it kind of a challenge. So I don't know. To really make that, I would probably have to have a tournament a month where I play no tournaments, which I don't know if. But $1,000 is that's pretty meaningful. I mean, right there, that's my car payment, my car insurance, and all the gas for the month or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
how much is your car payment?
$477 a month.
Holy shit! Well, what is it? How many more years do you have for that?
Steve, I don't like to think about all the bad decisions I've made in life. Like, I think at the time I bought this, I was cash rich. I should have just bought a little shitbox Honda for $6,000. You know. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I got a lot of like ridiculous expenses. You know, you've already heard because of my stupid reason to take responsibility for a little fender bender in a parking lot where I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because I felt bad for the guy. Like, but that eventually is going to cost me like $10,000. Like almost no exaggeration. Like, you know, like I told you, they bumped up after the last parking ticket, the last ticket I had, they bumped up my insurance by 2. So yeah, there's a lot of expenses where if I was conducting my life in a rational manner, which should be a lot less. But Steve, of course you're jiving the system a little bit too. Like I don't know how, you know, I pay $400 a month for health, dental, and life insurance.
Oh, you have life insurance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to for my son, you know.
Okay.
So I don't know, you know, your health insurance, what do you pay a month?
That's going to change here at the end of the month because I'm getting off of my wife's insurance plan. But basically, when I'm on my own, I pay probably. Now, what I do is I get the insurance that you have like a $5,000 deductible for the year because I probably go to the doctor twice a year for, you know, being sick or getting the flu or something like that, and you know I may have to pay out of pocket $500 to $1,000 a year. I think 1,000 would probably be the high side, but you know, so my premium's pretty low each month. It's maybe around 100, 120 each month. But I got a high deductible, but the thing is after you hit that deductible, then I look at insurance as like a kind of a worst case scenario. Let's say I get in an accident and I'm laid up in the hospital for a week on IVs and stuff like that. I can come up with $5,000, and then after that, the insurance takes care of it. So I like to get those high deductibles because, you know, in all likelihood, I don't care if I go to the doctor and normally it's $100 that you have to pay to do a visit, and now because I have this insurance, it only costs me $10 at the counter and that's it. Well, really, I mean, you know, if you have to pay $300 a month for that insurance, it's just not worth it over the long run because I don't go to the doctor often enough. I want this to be a fail-safe in case I get, you know, really hurt, and it's not going to bankrupt me just because I got in some car accident or fell off a roof or something.
Yeah, I got a high deductible too. It is pretty funny, Steve. The fireman slash part-time businessman who probably makes, you know, 120K a year pays $100 a month, and I pay the triple amount, the penniless poker player. But this again is not. This is just due to your wisdom and my stupidity, and not some sort of, you know, unfairness of the system or whatever else you want to put it. You know,
just shop around. You know, you go to one insurance agent and he tells you $250, and you go to another one and it's basically the same plan and he tells you $125. Well, you go with the second guy, and I think a big one that you could do is your car. You know, if you is that a lease? Can you get out of it?
No, I own it.
Oh, you own it.
Yeah, I think I paid a full pop there. All I got is like black rims and a couple free oil changes. Like a good negotiator I should have gotten like, you know, $2,000 off and probably got a little better financing, you know, kind of shit. Where I just don't care.
Well, I'm thinking because if you're paying that much a month in car insurance, or for your car, that's like almost $5,000 a year. You could probably buy like a little Honda like mine for about that, and then you never have any car payments.
Yeah, I could trade it in for a Mercedes too. I mean, if I can afford $477 a month, I could probably can afford $750 a month to even have a nicer car, right? My overall happiness EV here, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Right on. What's your plan for today? You gonna play some cards or?
Yeah, I told myself I'm going to do some laundry, go to the gym, get a couple things done, and then time to play some. Try to play some poker here.
Right on.
What do we got? Yesterday was horrible. I lost $2,000 online. I fired the 150K on ACR like 5 times.
How much was that one? 500 buy-in or?
Yeah. So over 1,000 with the rake, and like the last 3 times where I bought in for 10 big blinds.
Ooh, yeah. I remember Jacob and I were watching you do one of those when you bought in for like 10 or 8 big blinds. We're like, oh my God, this is insane.
So yeah, it was bad. But then I was going to say, I don't know if this is good news, bad news. I went to the casino last night, and it is kind of funny. I don't know if I've, I use the software or the app, which gives me like very detailed information on all my cash game. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I talked about, I think I talked about this once. This is bad luck too. I mean, but over the course of this year, I'm down $14,000 on Sunday. Playing cash, and I'm up on all the other days for a total of like over 50K or something. So it's I think Sundays is, but I got to put those hours in. But that is anyway. But last night I did something which I just haven't been doing. I mean, again, this is Alex's rule number 1: cash game. Do not pay them off. Yeah. And I had a couple tough spots. I don't even really know to get the strategy. I had a 3-bet a guy with ace king of hearts. Hey. Old dude. He calls. Flop, king 9-6, 2 hearts.
6 heart. Oh, so and you had ace king of hearts.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
I bet 75. He calls. Turn is a 6 of clubs. I bet big. $225 or something. Pretty much pot size bet, or not quite. He's close to folding, and he's like he's thinking about it, and he finally calls. You know, an old dude where you can read his frustration when it's there pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then the river is a 5.
Offsuit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he quickly takes $300 out of his stack and throws it out there.
What are your pot odds at this point? They got to be at least 3-1.
But is that a factor here? I mean, there's only one hand he could have, right? I mean, is he cagey enough to, well, I missed the flush, but I'm gonna rep it, or I don't want him to bet 600 and I have a king. No, he liked the river card, and he was betting for value. He has
just 7-8. I mean,
he has 7-8, approximately. Let's just say there's some outliers there. Let's just say 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
So then we would need a better price than that to call.
Yeah. I couldn't call here. I think he's got that like. And I'm trying to think. Okay, obviously the river helped him if he wasn't calling down there with pocket 5. So 7-8's the only thing that makes sense. He's unless he's doing some kind of blocker bet with like king queen. But I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's an easy fold, and it's a fold I've been making recently.
Nice.
So I do not make it here.
Oh.
And so I lost that hand, and then a few minutes later I flopped top 2 pair. I had king jack. It was a limped pot. In a straddle, like $40.
Okay.
So 10, I called from whatever. So probably $50. I let out for a pot size bet on like the king jack 4, which was like $40.
Okay.
And the one guy calls. The guy I play with, I've played with 1,000 hours of poker with. He's a poker pro, but he's tight. Turn is a 9.
Turn's a 9. Okay.
So of the hands that I'm putting out when he calls, very prominently there is the queen 10.
Yeah.
So I check. He bets 55, and obviously I'm going to call just if nothing else to hope to fit the 4-outer.
Mm-hmm.
And the river's a blank. And I check, and he bets 200.
Is he ever doing that with? Well, he's never limping ace king, right?
He does occasionally. Yeah, he didn't raise pre-flop with ace king. He was the second player to put chips in the pot, so I think he raises with ace king.
Yeah.
I forget the net. He didn't have any two pairs in his range, other than exactly what I had, king jack, which he would have raised on the flop.
So you don't think that? Yeah. He's not going to have jack four. He's not going to have
every now and then. He's the definition of like the nit, and he gets mocked for it from other guys. But he will see some. I stacked him once where he bluff shove aces, and I'd slow played pocket kings top set against him.
Okay.
So occasionally, if you play properly, and he thinks you're capped, he'll go after it. But that's just so rare. And that's usually when he's having a bad day. He's not totally tiltless. So, I mean, I kind of had him narrowed. This was a little bit of a tougher spot.
Yeah.
But he never has a one pair hand. He never even has aces there, I don't think, frankly. Yeah, I mean, it's an easy fold. I think this spot would have been a good spot to lead the river to bet fold.
I think so too. I think so too. I think that's a bet fold.
We would have got him to pay us off with a king if for some reason he has just a king.
Yeah. He's
got a call. If he was betting king queen for value on the turn, because he might check back king queen here too. So that's the other problem with this. Yeah. And if he raises the river, it's just an easy fold. And I could have set my price. I could have bet 100. Yeah. 125.
I was thinking like 120, 130, but yeah.
And save myself money. So so at this point, I was only down $350 after these two bad hands, and I just packed up and left. Okay. I wasn't playing well. I was tired.
Yeah, the king set of fours makes sense here. I just don't see what he leads that sizing on the river for that you can beat. Unless he has your exact hand, but I don't think that's likely.
Yeah, and I played with a guy, just his demeanor and everything about it. It's just like I knew he had it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, I'm like, well, I'm at the top of my range. Like, I guess technically if we wanted to get into game theory, it's really exploitive to fold there. Because he can just start putting so many bluffs in but that's not how he and I play together.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's betting for value. And like I forget, every now and then he had king nine suited or something like that and hit two pair and thought he was good and and then I had just a king. I mean, I guess you can almost throw it. This one's not as bad, I don't think, but it's pretty bad. So those two river bets, $500. Difference between me losing 360 and me winning, $150.
Yeah.
So, but at least I quit.
Right on.
Something to be said for that. So what do we got coming down the stretch here, Steve? Here we got some people we definitely want to talk to.
We do. We've got Scott Stewart. He's out in, let's see, there's a tournament series going on right now in Cherokee, and he's hitting that up. So he's got that 13th place in the main event, scored himself over $500,000. So that's pretty impressive. And then we got Daryl Jace as well. He's coming in, and he just won, I think it was 150K.
Oh, did he say he's willing to come in again?
Yeah. Actually, he's free tomorrow. I don't know if you're free tomorrow in the afternoon, but I can hit him up to come on tomorrow if you're free.
I'm picking up my son to take him to karate tomorrow.
Okay.
In the afternoon after his camp. Well, we can talk about that. Okay, we'll have to hopefully get some... Who else was I thinking? I know there's a couple other people I was thinking would be good to talk to, but not off. I can't
Chris
get it off.
Kusha. I've got his phone number. Oh, and I want to bring Mike in too. Mike from the Poker House in. What's his last name? Pearson.
We'll see if, especially, he's playing the global championship, the 10K at Cherokee this week because he was a casino champion for winning the main event in Tahoe.
Oh, cool! Right on. Okay, yeah, we'll have to bring him
I
on.
still feel like we didn't. I'll have to listen to our Vegas episode. There's still. I know it's now kind of old news a month later, but I still don't know if I totally gave the whole Vegas story experiences in as much detail as I could have. Yeah, I think I needed tell a few more bad beat stories, Steve. I know I was tweeting them, but I was keeping my journal, and I mean the bottom line is the two of all the you're always going to have a couple chances, and the two biggest tournaments that I had chances are the Monster Stack, with a lot of chips in day 2, and the main event on day 4. I should have gone deeper. I definitely misplayed some hands. So, but if you take those two out, the other 55 tournaments was just some sickly run bad, but yeah, I don't know, just some other things that were going on around the house. So maybe I'll try to, but hopefully we got some good guests coming up, so I won't have to scratch my head and think about all that.
I really want to have Mike on. I talked to him the other day on the phone, and he and Alex, they're thinking about buying a place out in Vegas, basically like what we had, and then renting it out during the year, and then during the summer, that's our place, And that we're talking about going 3-way in on that, Alex, me, and Mike, and I don't know. I had to do lot of thinking and research, and I don't think the housing market is good for it right now. I think we're on a bubble. I think it's going to burst, and I think I'm going to wait. So I don't know if those guys are going to go on it or not. I told them I'd help them any way I could.
Renting a house in Vegas can't be too easy when you want people just to not be there in the summer. You know what I mean?
Well, you do what's like Airbnb or VRBO, basically a short-term rental.
Right. You need someone there to watch all that kind of shit, though, don't you?
That's where you hire a property manager. Yeah.
Right,
now, that's going to cost you probably for short terms like that. It's going to be 10, 11% if you get a good one. But you basically have someone run it for you. And as long as you put down 20% on the place, then you should be showing at least break even. You'll probably be making a little bit of money.
I'm sure those guys were, or at least, Alex now knows you well enough that, because I think I talked to him briefly about the house thing. I'm like, if Steve thinks it's a good idea, it's a good idea. The guy doesn't lose money. So when you show skepticism, I'm sure their enthusiasm will wane quickly.
There's always I was just like, the market's going to tank. I've seen this pattern in my lifetime 3 times, and I've gone back and studied it for the last 100 years, and it's following the same pattern. And it's going to happen again. Now, it may not happen for another year and a half. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to happen in the next 12 months. And I think that chance is probably 90%. So I'm not going to do it. But if they did do it, I still don't think it would be bad. They just wouldn't show a positive return for a while. They'd probably be basically breaking even for the first few years. Maybe losing a little bit, but anyhow.
Yeah, at some point, the economy.
Listen to this 5 years from now, and we may have our own poker house out there, but we'll see.
Yeah, at some point, you figure our economy is just humming along too nicely, considering right now how grossly mismanaged it is. But that's my own opinion, Steve, of course, so I won't put you into that. But
I think so, too. I've read some stuff on Congress. They have to come up with some bill. I think it's by the beginning or end of September, or else our economy, we don't... They basically have to increase the size of debt that we're able to take on. Or
we've done this so many times.
It's up to 20 trillion right now. Like, what the F,
I'm definitely out of my element talking about it. But the rich, the people who manage the money, it really is just two different worlds. Not just the amount of money, but just the the whole, like the state of Illinois. I don't know if you saw this. This was like, it's like a third world country where they needed help. They were going to default on all their like public bonds.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where basically, we were going to see a state just go bankrupt.
Wow.
And like I said, the debt's piling and everything else, but the guys who are managing the money and moving money from bank account to bank account and coming up with apps and are, the market is what, like 18,000 the Dow hit or something? I don't even know. But it has no relationship to the health of the country, in my opinion. All these You turn on MSNBC and all this stuff. You watch these numbers strolling. This company, it really is almost meaningless. I mean, if that goes down and collapses, then it's bad for everyone.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's a growth is just not. That's just my opinion. But
you know what I thought would be an interesting investment? I had a friend that went down to Argentina, and he was down there for a week or two, and he said basically they've got real currency, real paper dollars for Argentina, which the ratio is about 12-1 for an American dollar. But they also have a metric shit ton of counterfeit money, which you can exchange for $1 American dollar. You get 20 Argentinian pesos or dollars, or I can't remember what they're called. And the counterfeit scheme is so prevalent that there will be guys out on the street asking you if you want to buy some, basically buy some counterfeit money. And he would go into these warehouses, and there would be a freaking line of people lined up to buy this counterfeit money. And they actually have a printing press right behind them, printing this counterfeit shit, right? So nothing would convince me more that a country's economy is about to collapse when you have that much blatant counterfeit currency going out there. You know, inflation is just skyrocketing in the country. And I was looking at maybe somehow investing in the failure of that economy. And so I did some research on it, and you can basically, you buy what's called a put. You're betting against their economy. And I haven't found exactly like which one to invest in against, but that seems almost like a sure bet to me. I mean, how could the country recover from that? You know, they have loans that they have no way of repaying. I think they're going down the way of Greece. So if anyone's listening and you know how to invest in betting against the Argentinian economy, I would be interested.
If anyone out there knows how to make money off other people suffering, it should be some poker players.
There should be, yes. We're in the business of that. Well, I got a couple quick hands if you want to do some strat.
Sure.
Okay. Strategy section is brought to you by Tournament Poker Edge. You play tournaments, I play tournaments, so does Mikey. Let's get better at these things we call tournaments by going to Tournament Poker Edge. They have hundreds of videos. They probably have over 1,000 by now. I know Andrew Brokus himself has well over 100. I've been going back lately and watching the Andrew Brokus theory-based ones, like value targeting. I've probably watched that series 4 or 5 times now, and every time I just get something new out of it. Even though the videos have been up there for years, it's kind of like the book, The Theory of Poker. Like you can just go back and reread it again, and those basic concepts apply to any form of poker you're playing. Tournament Poker Edge. Use the code HUP month, HUP quarter, or HUP year. Score yourself a little discount and get better at tournaments. Okay, I've got a couple of them here. This one, I'd be curious to see what you think of this one. Okay, we're in the big blind. Blind levels are 75, 150. We've got 48 bigs. Okay, so we got a stack of a little over 7,000. It folds around to the, let's see, that would be button, cutoff, hijack, low jack. Low jack opens for 300 for a min raise. We've got 44 hands on him, and he's a 25-18. 60 big blinds, so he's got us covered. So he opens for a min raise, and it folds around to the button, who has 73 big blinds. He calls. He's a 27-0 after 26 hands, so pretty much an unknown, but he hasn't raised yet. Just calling. Small blind calls. 33 hands on him. He's a 33-15, so not much of a read there. And we're in the big blind here with Jack 7 offsuit. The total pot is 1,200. And it's 150 for us to call. So I don't think.
Yeah, it's call.
Yeah, I
think.
What is that? 9 to
it's
1.
Also, it's also a pre-ante. We should point out, though, right? So it's.
No, there is ante. There's,
there is.
135 in antes.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so we complete here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Jack 7 offsuit.
I'm sorry. What tournament is this? This is ACR. What's the dollar buy-in?
33.
Okay.
We complete, and the flop is Jack of Hearts, Jack of hearts, 9 of spades, 6 of spades. And we've got Jack 7 offsuit, no spade.
Okay.
Small blind checks, and it's on us. What are you thinking here?
I'm probably in check call mode.
Okay. I thought the same. I thought leading out here we have to fold to a raise, or it just puts us in an ugly spot. I kind of want to see what these guys do first, so I check as well, and it checks all the way through. Okay. So we got Jack 7 offsuit, and the board now is, after the turn, we got Jack of hearts, 9 of spades, 6 of spades, and the turn is the 8 of spades. So we got top pair, and we got an open-ended straight draw, but let's see, a 10 would give us a straight, but it'd give us the low end. A 5 would give us a straight. Right now, the nuts would be spades, and the nuts straight would be queen 10. And small blind checks again.
Yeah, I think you can throw a little bet out there. It depends on the lineup. I was thinking there's spots like these in these cash games, multi-way pot. I complete from the let's just say I would probably never complete a cash game for Jack 7 off anyways, but let's say it's Jack 9 suited, and the flop is like Jack, Jack, the same Jack 8-7 or something like that, and it checks around and there's a deuce on the turn. I still have top pair and a gutter ball. I'm still a lot of times just checking.
Okay.
Depending on the lineup, because like I said, there's usually 3 or 4 top pretty good pros there, and there's guys who will raise me there. Or you're going to get a couple people to call anyways.
Yeah.
With their gutters and this, and then you don't know where you are on the river, and yeah, I'm just saving my chips in cash games for like nuttier better spots. I don't know. This is being results oriented. I feel like I've had a couple spots like these where pretty much this exact spot in cash games where I've had top pair on the turn and bet, and then folded to like a raise or some river action or something like that. So, but here we have the expectation that we have the best hand. But I think you do, if you bet, you do have to fold to a raise though, right?
I think so. I don't know how. I mean, we could be drawing dead.
It's a tough spot. I mean, there's definitely like if I were these guys, I would have a fair amount of bluff raises in my range here when you lead, when one of the blinds leads. Although, you've got every 2 pair combination in your hand and stuff, so maybe they're not going to be bluffing that often. But with a flush draw, certainly flush draw and a gutter ball, so you could get blown off your hand here quite a bit if you're worried about that. Or if you're willing to maybe even call a check raise. I don't know. I don't think I would here.
I don't think so either. I mean, I think the bluff races here for these guys would be something like, they have the ace of spades and then any one of these pairs.
You say there's 2 or 3 spades on the board.
3 spades now. So the board is Jack of hearts, 9 of spades, 6 of spades. The turn was the 8 of spades. So we got 6, 8, 9 of spades on the board.
Yeah, I'm checking every time.
Oh, really? You're checking here? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not. Into 1335, I bet 388. So my plan here was to bet fold, but I guess I was trying to get value from any pair lower than that. If somebody happened to have a 10 for an open-ender, a single spade, that was my reasoning, but you might be right. Maybe it is.
Yeah,
you can.
You can get called by worse here, obviously.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a profitable bet. You're going to people get called, like you said, with just 1 spade and just 1 pair, or a pair and a spade. So yeah, I mean, I just know for me, I don't know, in the average $33 tournament, I would be reading this as kind of a scared bet.
Okay.
Because in a multi-way pot, if you had a flush, wouldn't you be putting more chips in? I mean, what would you bet when you have the nuts here? You'd want to get some chips in there.
I'd probably bet, let's see, this one I bet 388. If I had the
600.
nuts, yeah, I'd probably bet a little more. I'd probably bet closer to
650, you'd bet money hoping somebody has a jack.
Yeah.
or somebody has another spade.
10,
or,
yeah.
So that, I mean, I'm just saying for the competition, I would be raising, I would be bluffing, you'd be opening yourself to bluffs from me anyways. But so what happened? You bet 388.
I bet 388. The original opener, he calls, the button calls, and the small blind folds. So we go to the river, three-way.
So one of them, you could, one of them could have, I mean, there's, other than a jack, there's nothing we really love here, obviously.
Yeah, there's a lot of really bad rivers, like any spade. A 7 would be bad. It'd give us 2 pair, but now anybody with a 10 has a straight. Let's see. I think a queen, king, or ace on the river is bad. A 10 is bad. Queen is bad. Yeah, there's not too many great rivers here. We're really hoping for like a deuce of clubs or something, you know.
Well, let's think for a second though. What other hands can you turn your value hand into a bluff here on the river? Was that in our mind at all? If it's a blank, if it's like you said, the 2 of clubs or something, would we actually consider overbetting pot or betting really big to get him to fold a better jack? Like if they had a big hand, if anyone had a set or a flush, maybe not the baby flush or the nut flush, but I think there's not enough chips in the pot. There's 388. They've got to raise the flop or the turn. They got to bet the turn or raise the flop. I'm sorry, bet the flop or raise the turn.
Raise the turn.
So I think you haven't run into a monster here, but you could be second best. That's what I'm worried about.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm always maybe trying to be creative in spots like these. Get somebody to fold their 2 pair where they're just not folding. You know what I mean? Where they actually might believe that you have a monster. But I'm just going to throw that out there. It might not be a bad spot to. Probably I'm along your lines. I'm just hoping for a blank and just hoping to take it down cheap on the river somehow. Willingness to check call. 30% pot or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the river? Okay,
so the river is the 9 of clubs. So the final board here is Jack 9-9-8-6. 3 spades on the board. We've got Jack 7 offsuit, and that's the river. We're first to act.
Well, they both have 9s in their range, right?
They do.
A 9x with a spade would make sense. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm in just check it down mode here, I guess, and hope your best.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any reason to bet. I check. The original opener into 2,500, he bets 1,100. And the button folds, it's back on us. So there's 3,600 in the pot right now, and it's 1,100 for us to call.
I like his sizing, whether he's doing it for bluffing or for value.
I do too. I do too.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, Steve. Like I said, he does have just the ace of spades or the king of spades in his hand quite a bit. Maybe, missing a flush draw. The other hand, I think if this guy's aware, a lot of people maybe aren't going to bluff as much in multi-way pots here because they're just assuming that when he has a jack's going to call. If this guy just does have just a missed flush draw.
Yeah, that
I'm
definitely
more
made me wonder because he's betting into 2 of us. Although I did check on the river, showing weakness.
Right.
The button did call on the turn, and he's leading into 2 of us.
I mean, it is conceivable he did flop a set even with the flush draw out there.
Yeah.
And had to slow down a little bit when the flush hit the turn or something. But it. I mean, he's repping a. We already said we thought he'd be raising flushes on the turn, correct?
Yeah.
And he would be betting over pairs on the flop.
Yeah, I think so.
And in a 4-way pot, I think he's betting sets too with the flush draw out there. So it's kind of, he's almost got 9 or nothing. Ace 9 suited or something, I guess, would make sense. 10-9. I mean, he does have nines in his range, but he's got less nines in his range than the other two guys who are later position.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, I'm tempted to call. I hate to lose to freaking King Jack here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if he would have checked that. The more I think about it, I think maybe he just has the ace of spades. I think I might look him up here.
Okay.
I just think he doesn't have a full house or a flush here very often. You're looking at 9x or pocket sixes here, you know. I don't know, Steve. I don't like folding top pair, I guess is my I'm just a calling station. But the more I think about it, I'm leaning towards a call here.
I thought it was a call. In the moment I didn't work through it like we have now, but it just felt to me like a bluff. I thought that there was a lot of ace of spade X in his range. I thought that, this might be a really good point for him to turn like that into a bluff, or king queen with the king of spades, or something like that, So I flick in a call, and he had pocket threes with the three of spades. So I thought that was kind of I don't really like his play. I like his raise pre-flop, check the flop, but then his call on the turn, I'm not really feeling that.
Yeah, I like his river bet if he's going to stick around, try to steal it at the end.
I do too.
Turn it into
He knows he can't win, so he's got to turn it into a bluff.
Right. Well, he may be expecting especially with action behind him there on the turn.
Yeah.
He wasn't closing the action, right? He had two other people.
No, he wasn't.
He had two other people acting behind.
Yeah.
So in a heads up pot, he's like, I'm going to call here and just bet take it down on the river or something. But or raise there on the turn. So yeah, his bad play though almost worked on the end there. Yeah, I don't know if it's just a guy clicking buttons or not. I don't have enough information. Where on the river, he's just like, oh, they missed their flush. Good, threes are good. I'm assuming that's with that bet sizing and everything. I think it's probably I like the river bet. Like I said, my first instinct actually was the opposite of you, was to fold, just because in a multi-way pot, my rationale was there that this guy can't expect to get too many folds there. But good, nice work, Stevie.
Thank you, sir. I got one more. This one, I've got pocket aces. But first, let me tell you about Elliot Roe. Get in the right mindset before you play poker. Listen to an MP3. It's a hypnosis tape. You throw it right on your phone. Listen to it before you play. He's got them for cash games. He's got them for online tournaments. He's got them for spin and goes. He's got the Simple Volume System. Maybe you're not playing enough. Listen to them. They're for free. It's get your 7-minute tilt buster. Click on the link in the show notes. It'll take you straight there. You enter in your email, and then you put it right on your phone, and you can try it before you buy it. So put it on your phone, try it out, use the code HUPOKER, and score yourself a little discount, and get in the right mindset before you play. Elliot Roe. All right, this one we've got pocket aces, and we are in the, button cutoff, we're in the hijack. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-handed. This was an 8-handed tournament. Okay, 8-handed tournament, $33 buy-in, pocket aces in the hijack, and the blind levels are 15-30, and we get a raise from UTG +1 to 68, so a little bit more than a min raise, and we're in the hijack with ace-ace. Early levels, everyone's got 150 big blinds plus. This looks like one of the first hands.
I'm 3-betting here.
Okay. Blinds are 15-30. He raised to 68. What's your 3-bet size here?
188.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. I guess, 2.8 something. Occasionally, Steve, I don't know if this is this level one people I'm sure you've seen this a few times where people just shove their aces here and actually get paid off.
Yes. Yeah. I've
mean,
never
it
been
feels
able to
like
do that. It just feels like such a waste. But maybe they only call 10% of the time, but that makes it so worth it because you got 150 bigs. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, well, let's just do the math here. I mean, you're going to what's the starting stack? 5K or 10K?
5K.
Yeah. So if it actually did happen 10% of the time, you win 500 chips. Where if you 3-bet and he calls and folds, I guess folds the flop, then you're winning 188 chips. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, you'd have to run a lot of simulations. There's a lot of different results from 3-betting that could happen. He could flop a set, you know what I mean? But he could go nuts with top pair. You could stack him that way, blah blah blah. But yeah, the maximum profitability for this hand might be just to shove it in there against an early position open and a rebuy.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, you might be right.
I've definitely have seen that before and called with kings and queens and been stacked firsthand.
Yeah.
A couple times.
I have to.
I'm ashamed to say I don't. So yeah, that might be a good strategy, especially online on a rebuy. Live, I think it's bad. It depends on your bankroll, whatever. But yeah, just throwing that out there.
Okay.
But I would 3-bet 3x here.
Okay. You said 188. I made it 177. So same ballpark. And we get folds around to the original raiser who calls. So we're heads up. UTG plus 1 opened to 68. We made it 177, and he calls. We've got 399 in the pot. And the flop is 8 of spades, 5 of spades, 4 of diamonds. And we have ace, club, heart, so we have no spade. And the original opener checks. We both basically have 5K behind, and the pot is 400.
Yeah, c-betting.
Okay, sizing.
40% pot, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what that would be. Yeah, probably about the
180, 160, something like that, or
yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Okay, I went a little bit more than half pot. I went 222, so into 400.
Okay.
I bet 222.
That's fine too.
And he check raises to 644.
Yeah, before we see bet, I was going to stop and say, well, what do we do if he check raises here?
Yeah.
I know Carlos's rule for these small but these lower buy-in tournaments that he folds to every check raise pretty much. He's kind of joking about how he pretty much plays perfectly, but he's opened himself to be totally exploited in that because he just folds to all the check raises because they just have it such frequency. Yeah, I mean it depends. Like in the usually, maybe I make too much a difference between about the guys who play like $200 tournaments in the 33s, and it's hard to say. But the problem in the $200 tournaments is anybody who check raises their gutter balls here is almost always blasting the turn too.
Yeah.
Where maybe the lower buy-ins is like a one and done kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Occasionally the guy has slow played his jacks, queens, and kings here and thinks he's trapping you with a big pair.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be optimistic, I mean, it's just a tough spot here because even though you start with 150 big blinds, this guy can get it all in by the river for sure.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, you call here, he makes it 1,400 on the turn, 1,300 and pots it on the river, and bam, you're all in. I don't think
the information we got on him, after 38 hands, he's a 3-3. So he's played like one hand. This is his second one.
I'm folding. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he's also doing this with king, queen of spades and queen, jack of spades and probably pocket tens and above.
I don't know if he's doing it with tens and above. I think he's
just check calling there or leading.
He's worried you have aces with tens and jacks. Yeah, just check calling probably. I don't know. but when you give me that information, I'm gonna fold, and then if the guy bluffed me, it's well good for him.
Okay. Okay. I don't. I call. And so
Okay.
I call the extra 400 or whatever it is. We got about 1,700 in the pot. Turn is the queen of spades. So again, we've got aces, and the flop was 8 of spades, 5 of spades, 4 of diamonds. Turn is the queen of spades. And villain checks.
He's probably in check call mode. He's kind of worried about the flush draw.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want to, put him through the test and bet 1,300 here and shove the river, turn your aces into a bluff. I don't know. I think I'm happy to just check behind here, frankly. But I don't know. Maybe that's not the right move. Maybe the only chance to win here is to. His total bluffs, obviously. You don't mind checking behind here and just calling his river bet, I guess. But I think he's got set a lot, and now he's nervous. So do we take a shot at it here? It'd be really bad of him to fold a set. I don't think he does that. So what would be the purpose of betting here would be more for what? To get him to fold better or to get him to call with worse? You know what I mean?
I don't think he's going to fold better. I don't think he's going to. I mean, maybe he folds like a baby 2 pair, like he was getting froggy with the 4-5 suited or something for bottom 2 pair. And
even that, yeah.
I don't think so. Unless he was sitting out, which I don't remember, having numbers like 3-3. He could have been sitting out. I didn't take
for some reason, the purpose of betting would be that he still might call with 8x.
Yeah.
He's got a spade and he's got an 8. I don't really see that in his range. I don't know if he'd be calling pre-flop, or he might. Could have 8-7. 8-7 or 8-6 exactly suited.
Or maybe pocket 6s, pocket 7s for the gut shot? I don't know. That's probably stretching it.
I don't know, man. I mean, for balancing purposes, a good pro is supposed to be check raising with some of the hands we just said. Yeah. I just don't know if this guy is. I think he's just really value heavy. So I think you're still beat here a lot, and I don't think you can get him to fold better.
Okay.
And those hands that are worse than that you're beating, he's going to fold them all. So there's probably not a great reason to bet here, but I could be wrong. I don't know. That's my first instinct is check behind.
Okay. I checked behind as well. I thought if I bet here and he raises, I have to fold.
You do not have an ace of spades, correct?
I do not, no.
Okay.
No, club and heart. Yeah, so 3 spades on the board. I check behind as well. We go to the river, and the river is the 8 of hearts. So the flop was 8 of spades, 5 of spades, 4 of diamonds. Turn was the queen of spades, and the river is the 8 of hearts, putting a pair out on the board there. And villain checks again.
Now I'm kind of thinking he's like we said jacks, queens, kings were a possibility.
Yeah.
Queens he bets here. And I'm almost want to get a little value out of jacks and kings, but does he ever have the flush? Was planning to check raise the turn, and now that it paired, he's just really kind of wimpy and just checking to check call mode. I guess the guy might have been on a total bluff, and he's just given up. I don't know, Steve. Yeah, if you're betting for value, you're targeting a really, really narrow range here.
That's why I brought this hand up. I feel like him checking on the river here, I feel like I should be putting in a small value bet. Something like, I don't know, 700 or something into 1,700.
Yeah.
He can raise there as a total bluff, and it's probably, I don't think I could ever call, but I feel like this river's a bet fold the way I played it. Maybe I should have folded to the check raise on the flop, but I just in the moment I couldn't do it on an 8 high flop.
I think so. Like you said, there's not. If for some reason he had 6s or 7s, you're hoping to get heroed here by 6s, 7s, 10s, and jacks, and yeah, if he's got kings, he's calling. I mean, if he's got kings, is he not? I mean, I don't necessarily 4-bet a lot pre-ante early with kings, so I don't think kings might not even be. I don't think we can take kings out of his range either.
Okay.
and he would probably play them just like this. If I had kings, I'd be checking turn for sure when the third spade comes out. I probably bet a little bit on the river here if I had kings, if I were him, but I don't know. So what did you do?
I check behind and I win, and we don't get to see what he had. But in the moment, I was like, "This is probably a value bet." And
I think
it
it's
was like as I was thinking that, my finger was the mouse was hovering over the check button, and before I could stop, I checked behind without. I should have just taken an extra 3 seconds.
I think it's pretty. The more I think about it, I think it's a pretty easy bet fold.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I just think he bets. I don't think he's trapping that often. Early stages, people are with their nutty hands are just trying to get some chips in there.
Yeah, I think we get a crying call from whatever queens he might have had. Maybe the ace of spades with an offsuit queen or something. We get a crying call from nines, tens, jacks, kings.
Sometimes, I don't know. I mean, occasionally he's just a really passive player who's in check call mode with the baby flush or something like that. But that's pretty rare. When he checks the river, you're good. 9 out of 10 times at least. So yeah, you're right for sure.
Okay.
Value bet.
Misbet. All right. Live and learn. Good deal. Well, should we wrap it up, Mikey?
Yes, for sure.
Right on. You still twitching?
No. I had problems doing that setting. I need computer help once again for some shit. So, but
all right.
Yeah.
Well, you can follow me and Mike on Twitter. Check the link in the show notes. Be sure to get your 7-minute Tilt Buster by Elliot Roe. It's free. Put it right on your phone and join Tournament Poker Edge. You have a great rest of the week, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
My hero. That's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, "Who's your hero?" And I said, "I don't know, I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks." I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, "Who's your hero?" I said, "I thought about it. You know who it is?" I said, "It's me in 10 years. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero's always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing."
I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. But here's what I know, that dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible. See, sometimes we can't say, "I can do that." But what we can say, that it's possible that I can have my dream as we run toward it, as we work on it day in and day out. No one, ladies and gentlemen, could have convinced me when I started out just over 6 years ago working on my dream. And I want you to think about whatever your dream is, because I was willing to take a chance. And most people won't do that. Most of the people that you talk to try and bring them into the business, these are not risk takers. Most people have done all that they're ever going to do. They raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die. But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning. And here's what I will share with you, that in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. What you will realize is that you have greatness within you. What you'll realize is that you're more powerful than you could ever begin to imagine. What you will realize is that you're greater than your circumstances, that you don't have to go through life being a victim.